What is going on, guys? It's MarkyB here, and today I'd like to talk to you all about a couple of changes that I think would be great for Advanced Warfare. Things that Sledgehammer can do themselves to make the game a better experience for not only the competitive players, but the public players as well. I think if you look at the way Advanced Warfare is going right now, I think there's a lot of things that need changing. I mean, the game itself is amazing. I think that we could only make the game better, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to suggest things. I'm not going to be a dick, and the way I look at things is, if you don't ask, you don't get. And if we can suggest these changes to Advanced Warfare to Sledgehammer, and there are things that they believe they can fix pretty easily, and that it's worth their time, and it can improve the game. If a lot of people are asking for this as well, I think that they're going to do it. They only want the game to be a better experience for everyone. And as far as what I've seen so far, they really seem to listen to the community, the competitive community as well. We play the game a lot. We play the game 10 hours a day. I feel that we understand the game more than anyone else, and yeah, I'd like to see Sledgehammer do a couple of things to improve the experience of the game, not only for players but for spectators. So first of all, looking at Emoji Columbus, I'm going to take a lot of examples from that. I think obviously, first of all, the broadcaster mode needs a lot of improvements. I think the use of different colours on the codcaster gets very confusing. Usually when you're spectating someone, if the other team was on the hard point, you'd see it in red, but it was dependent on who was in the hard point and stuff like that. It was pretty confusing to watch, in my opinion. I think that they should just revert that sort of thing to the way it used to be. Hard point timer also needs to be there. There needs to be a couple of other features as well, but to be honest, I think casters will give better insight to that. But those are just the main ones that I'd like to suggest. Next up, I'd like to talk about uplink. And as much as I love uplink, and as much as I enjoyed the intense match, Optic versus FaZe's comeback uplink was intense. Honestly, probably the most intense match of Call of Duty I've ever watched in my life. And when Optic went on to win that map and take it to Game 5 in the very end, honestly, I literally thought I was about to explode out my chair. That was some of the best Call of Duty I've ever experienced in my life. But nonetheless, I can't help but feel there are some fundamental problems with uplink, and as much as we should bend over backwards to support Sledgehammer and what they're doing, because they're putting up these $1 million tournaments, they're supporting us as a community by putting in things like ranked play, they're listening to what we're saying. We are a competitive community, and the definition of competitive is, well, in gaming terms, the way I see it is it's the most skillful rules played by the most skilled players in the most fair setting. And I think that there's too many inconsistencies with uplink in its current state to be viable. The results of uplink matches could decide people's futures, like their lives, literally. I know that sounds very like dramatic, but just think of it this way. Imagine like one team loses a potential championship, or a player that may have got noticed to join a bigger and better team. This player could end up being one of the best players in the world in the future, but without being recognised by other top players, by getting results like victories at LAN events, then he's never going to be recognised. And imagine those sort of results are being decided by flukiness and uplink. I think there's too many inconsistencies right now in the game mode itself. That, like, for example, I seen yesterday, this is the biggest one for me. The ball should not be able to bounce. Like, I seen someone completely miss the uplink portal, like a terrible throw, but because due to luck, the ball bounced off the structure of the map. It was on Biolab. It bounced off the snow and bounced into the portal. I can't remember exactly who it was, but those sort of inconsistencies can't happen. Like, I can't begin to stress, like, this literally decides people's lives, these results. Like, like I said before, it sounds rather dramatic, but it does. Like, there's actually such an importance on results in this scene. It could result in a player being dropped. There's just so many variables into a winner or loss that you got to think about, and there just can't be this inconsistency. There can't be this sort of luck in timing based nature that is uplink at the minute. I think also that the uplink player needs to have a constant kill sign above his head, not a delayed one. There's another couple of things I'd like to suggest, but honestly, the other things are pretty much up for discussion. I think CTF right now needs to be changed to 7.5 respawn. A lot of people are saying like, oh, uplink's better than CTF, but that's because CTF is just so hectic at the minute. You can get 4 down and you can come off spawn, and you can counter cap by overextending, because due to the nature of the spawns and stuff like that, and it's harder for the players to dictate spawns, because you spawn so fast that when people get 4 down, they can't move to block a spawn or something like that fast enough, because they've not got enough time. So I think that with a 7.5 second respawn, I think CTF really could be an amazing thing to watch. I think, like, a lot of people were saying, like, oh, in Mod 3 we played 7.5 respawn, but it was so slow paced. But that's the most flawed argument ever, honestly. Look at the pace of this game. Hardpoint needed a respawn delay because of the pace of it. I think it would be fine. It would be completely fine. 7.5 respawn with the movement speed is what we need. If anything, I'd say 10 respawn delay would be, like, better. But obviously 7.5 is probably perfect. I think that it would still allow the game to be very fast paced. More fast paced than any CTF we've seen in the past. Black Ops 2 is 5 seconds, it's still at 7.5 going to be faster paced. It just allows people to get more things like a setup on the go, and dictate spawns to make it more of the CTF that we know of, and not about overextending, camping your flank, playing counter cap. All this unskillful, the way the game is played right now, the way it has to be played, it needs to be played in a very rubbish way of playing, and I don't imagine it's very exciting for the spectators, to be honest. I think that people are saying, oh, if you reduced it to 5 second respawn, it wouldn't be as entertaining for the spectators, and that's another flawed argument. Like, do you think spectators want to watch people camping and playing counter cap? No, they want to see the way CTF is meant to be played. And I think that's something that needs to be changed. And finally, I would like to see SMGs buffed. They recently announced that the BAL was going to be nerfed, and I don't really think that was the right thing to do. I think the BAL was fine. The time to kill on it was great. It wasn't too fast, it wasn't too slow, although it was better than every other weapon. I think every other weapon, honestly, just needed to be buffed. I don't think a nerf was needed. I think that the time to kill now may be a bit too long. Who knows, I could be completely wrong when I'm saying that. But I don't think that the BAL nerf is going to change anything. It's still going to be an AR-dominated game. You're just going to see people using things like the IMR and the HBR. Really, it's not. The SMGs are so unviable. Even public players, usually you'd expect the competitive players to recognise these things fast, but even the public players are dominating with ARs. They're not touching the SMGs because they realise how poor they are, and that's a problem if the public players recognise that before us. That's a real problem. That's a real big problem. But anyway, guys, that's drawn to the close of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I think you should agree with my comments. Hopefully you have. Comment below if you don't. Comment if you have got anything else to say as well. Make sure you like the video. And that's it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you all later. Goodbye.